Well, but before that, we're going to talk to the actor John Barrowman, famous for Torchwood, of course. He's here because he's fronting a new campaign to promote global gay rights. The campaign is aiming to win support for people who live in countries where it is a criminal offence to be homosexual. There's a campaign video which has been released by the Kaleidoscope Trust, and it shows people being persecuted for other reasons, on account of, for example, their hair colour or their height. Let's take a quick look at that first.
Read the sign, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen the sign. It's ridiculous.
Well, and let's discuss that a little with John Barrowman, eagerly watching it, although I guess you've seen it many times. But the point of the video is, imagine a world where if you had dark hair, in our case, for example, or you were very short, or you had ginger hair, imagine if that was illegal.
Imagine if it were illegal for you to be you. That's the point that we're trying to get across, because although we may take a lot of things for granted in our everyday life, there's a lot of people out there, gay, lesbian, transgender, and bisexual people around the world that cannot be themselves because it is illegal. 78 countries around the world, it is illegal to be gay, lesbian, or bisexual or transgender. It's an astonishing amount, and I was unaware of it. I tweet, I'm on the social medias, and the one thing that it raised awareness to me right off the bat before I got involved with Kaleidoscope, I was reading tweets from other fans of mine from places like Russia, from the Ukraine, from parts of Africa. And they were tweeting me and saying, it's wonderful that you are showing us pictures of myself, and I was showing pictures of Scott and myself, my partner and I, and cuddling and at home with the dogs. And they were saying, it's wonderful you can do that, because in my country, I can't. In my country, I can be killed for being who I am. And I thought, you know what? We've got to do something about this. Our human rights in the UK are very, very good. They're very good. We're still striving for legal marriage, but other than that, we need to do something for the other people out there.
And so how does producing this video and people watching it, how can that help someone living in a country where they could even be, as you suggested, in some cases subjected to the death penalty?
Yes. Well,
how does that actually help here, sitting in the UK today?
Because what it does, you start with the people. And if you can make this, everybody has the internet now. Most people have the internet around the world. If we can get it on the internet and cause it to be viral and let people see it, they can then find out through activists and other people in their countries to speak up, to start, you have to fight for your rights sometimes. And if they speak up, Kaleidoscope is the organization that will help them with the governments and to start that process and defend the rights of those people who don't have the voice. That's the one thing that I've always been... I looked at an interview I did a long, long time ago, and I said, I never thought that I would be an activist or someone who's standing up for things like that, but I've been put in a really wonderful position, and I'm able to use my position a little bit. And I said in the interview, if people don't have a voice, particularly gay and lesbian people, I will be your voice if you don't have it. And that's what I'm doing, just today. In
some countries, though, we are talking about a very, very tall order. I mean, you can imagine some governments who might not even want people to see this video in the first place online.
Absolutely. Some countries, in fact, Ukraine, they're thinking about changing their law back to being illegal to be a homosexual, that even it will be illegal to say the word gay. You might not be allowed to use that. But there are countries where, it probably will not be seen. I mean, if you think about it, without going through the list, because there's a lot of countries, and it's not just one that is doing it. But, if for two men to show any affection, two women to show any affection, they're either stoned or they're hung. And that's it. No questions asked, no defense. They're not allowed to speak up for themselves. So, yes, there probably will be some governments that will not let this video be seen. But thank goodness for things like BBC News and everything else. They'll find a way. It will be seen.
John Barrowman, good to have you with us.
Thanks you very much for asking me.
Thanks for being here. Thank you. And just to tell you a little bit more information, in fact, about the Kaleidoscope Trust, that's what John mentioned. There is the dress, she said, hopefully, on the screen. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's kaleidoscopetrust.com.
That's better than reading that out. That's why we waited.
kaleidoscopetrust.com, and you'll find the video in other areas if you type it in the website as well.
Now, we'll have business in a moment. Just a word from one of our correspondents on a story we've covered in the last 24